our team, our community. This is Condors Town, and this is another Energy Condors connection. Now, here's Erik Fox and Ryan Holt.
So when Ryan logged in, I started singing to him, and his ears, I think, just started bleeding. So I'm not going to do it to everyone else, but welcome to playoff time in Bakersfield. What's going on? My name is Erik Fox from Energy 95.3. Ryan Holt from the Bakersfield Condors. He's got a big old smirk on his face, so he's really enjoying this. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. I just realized I haven't shaved, so I was just realizing that I should probably just roll it into a playoff beer, but we'll see.
There you go. You know, I thought about that when I was driving in this morning because I shaved right before I went to work at like 5 a.m. when you're not awake yet. I'm like, you know what? Playoff beer need to happen, but it was too late because I already messed it up.
Yeah. Well, it's tough out here because one, the maintenance is tough, but also two, like it gets hot, right? Like so.
Yep.
You know, it's not the greatest thing in the world.
But
and I feel like you got to go through that stage where it gets scratchy.
Yeah, that's the part I hate.
And then eventually it turns into it's soft, but there's a solid week of scratch.
Yeah, that is the part in which you feel like a little when you finally understand what it's like to have a cat with a scratching post and why they do that so much, because that's exactly what you want to do with your face.
Maybe I'll do it this year. I haven't really done one.
Ryan, you've already started. Just let it be, dude. And you know, by the finals, you're going to be Santa Claus. Anyways, let's talk playoffs. Sure. It's here in B-Town. But first, as we always do, we talk about the other team that's in the playoffs right now. The thing that's so interesting to me is the parent organization and the local Baco Birds are both facing the team that is attached to the other parent organization and the what is a rain, but anyways, we'll talk about that later. We'll get to that in a moment. Let's talk about, first of all, Edmonton. They've already gotten into the playoffs. We haven't had our first game yet, but they have taken a win in game one, pretty much getting a touchdown, 7-4. What were you seeing in that first game?
Yeah, you need your best players to be their best and to be what they are in the playoffs. And Zach Hyman scored 55 goals this year, and Connor McDavid had over 100 assists, and Hyman scores a hat trick, has a 4-point night.
Mm-hmm.
McDavid has 5 assists. So your best players. The Oilers, when they're at their best, are better than the Kings. So is that going to show itself over the course of 7 games? It should. And they have to play the right way. But they're a better team than LA is. I think top to bottom. And last night, they used the power play to their advantage, and they have the Kings number on the power play. I think it's 60% over the last 3 playoff runs here on the man advantage. So I don't think the Kings goaltending is as good. And I don't think the Kings are as good as last year. I just don't. The Oilers have been the best team since November, and they showed it last night.
Looking at the series ahead, game 2 is on Wednesday. It is a best of 7 series, so obviously they got a little more time to go through the motions here. But what are you seeing on the series ahead?
Yeah, I think, if you're Edmonton, you want to defend home ice first and foremost, right? That's why you play 72 games or 81 games in the regular season. And, you have an opportunity to, get the extra game at home, and the team's going to have to beat you at home to win a series. And, the Oilers have, made that a tough place to play, especially in the postseason. It's a fun atmosphere. It's a fun crowd. And, it's an electric environment to be in. So, the Oilers came out with gas on the, foot on the gas on Monday. And, as Connor said, it's 1 game. We move on and keep on going. You need 16 of them. So you might as well get to work on Wednesday.
There you go. Let's go and jump kind of quick here, because I want to talk really in depth on our Calder Cup playoffs that kick off tomorrow on the road. Round 1, for those who don't know, it's a best of 3 series as opposed to the normal best of 7. So the first team to win 2 games wins the series. But the first game is on the road in Ontario, and you said you're hitting the bus pretty much in an hour here.
Yeah, it's you get right into it. I mean, one of these teams isn't going to be playing hockey come Sunday night, so the playoffs come quick. It's a long season, and then all of a sudden, you kind of have to ramp back up, and you get set for 1 game, and that's been the focus, for this team, since the opponent was set. But we don't need to win 2 games. You got to win 1 game, and that's Wednesday night. It's in Ontario. it would flip the script on everything, and then you could turn your focus to Saturday. But that's a long stretch, especially in the postseason when days kind of drag out a little bit. Thursday, Friday to have to sit on, having to come up here Saturday. It's a big momentum change. So we'll see what happens tomorrow night, but this is going to be a fun series.
Let's go and talk about round one of the Calder Cup playoffs. Let's go pretty much position by position. We did this last year and kind of like broke it down. Let's do our matchups here because Ontario is not going to be an easy opponent, but we've also had their number numerous times this season. So let's break it down position by position. Let's start with our defensemen. What are you seeing in that realm?
Yeah, I think, we're two elite defensive teams. They were 6th in goals against per game. We were 8th. They have a veteran, D-core with Kevin Connaughton and Joe Hickett's back there. But they also have, the young, talented, first rounder in Brant Clark, who, was 4th in the league in scoring, for a defenseman on the back end and, made the all-star team and was part of a bunch of year-end teams as well, too. So, he's the flashy one back there. But I think, we've exposed him a little bit defensively this season. For us, it looks like we won't have Philip Broberg, I don't think, going into game one, which is, unfortunate for us. But obviously, Edmonton comes first, and, they're dealing with some bumps and bruises up there. So Broberg was recalled yesterday and, is still up in Edmonton as we speak right now. So, for us, it turns to, guys like Cam Dineen and guys like Max Warner, who have been so terrific this year. A glue guy like Phil Kemp, who just locks things down defensively. Marcus Niemelainen, locks things down defensively back there. Alex Peters is so physical and tough. And, those are the type of players that you need, come postseason time because, the flashy and the, kind of secret weapons back there are nice. But, at the end of the day, you're going to have to be able to lock things down. And, it's a race to 3 for us, basically every game. And we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Let's talk the other side of the line, a little Cliff Notes version of what you're seeing in defense when it comes to Ontario.
Yeah, it's, a strong team. They're strong back there. They're a, defensive-minded team first and foremost. They're the same thing the Kings are. They don't want to give you any time and space. They don't want to give you any sort of odd man rushes. They don't want to – they would be happy with a 1-0 game and, 15 combined shots. They want to play a boring style of hockey. They want to play physical. They want to get you off your game, and, they do it well. There's no doubt about it. They're a heavy team. They're a hard forechecking team. They're physical in their own end. We got to stay out of the box against these guys because they're elite on the power play, and we'll see what happens.
They're going to turtle that power play, when you're running low end.
Well, both teams have elite power plays. The Condors power play kind of kicks up a notch when Philip Broberg is seen to be the quarterback. And if he's not the quarterback, there's Cam Dineen, there's Ben Gleason, there's, plenty of other options. But, Broberg just seems like when he has been quarterbacking, that power play has been elite. But, you're looking at Seth Griffith, Raphael Lavoie, Xavier Bourgault, Lane Peterson. I mean, there's enough offensive weapons on the power play to get by.
Sounds good. Let's move towards the net and talk about the forwards. Let's go and start, obviously, with the Baker Birds.
Yeah, Raphael Lavoie had 28 goals in the regular season. That was 10th in the league. Seth Griffith was 3rd in the league in assists. And, I think getting Xavier Bourgault back healthy late in the year was big. First-round pick who, has battled injuries all year, has had, I'll use the word disappointing probably by his standard season, just from a drop-off from his rookie year. But, these are the times where these are the games you remember, right? Like, I can remember every playoff game the Condors have been in. I can't remember a Tuesday night in Stockton, but I can remember every playoff game the Condors have been in. So if you're Xavier Bourgault, you got to look at this and say, it's an opportunity, right? This is a coming out party for me. I can be an elite offensive guy and help out because we do have some injuries up front. No James Hamlin, no Drake Kajula for this series. So, yes, where can that offense come from? You know what Peterson's going to bring. You know what Griffith, Lavoie. You go down, Cameron Wright's had a terrific rookie season. Jaden Group's had a terrific rookie season, but those guys are going to take on different roles come the postseason. I think Xavier Bourgault, and, his name starts with X, is the X factor because, he's the guy that has been missing from this season series all year long. Can he be a guy who can impact this game and impact the series offensively?
It's going to be interesting to watch. Let's go and talk the Cliff Note version of the Ontario forwards.
Yeah, I mean, ton of firepower, right? Like Sam Fagimo had 43 goals in 50 games. Like, that's insane. He's, second in the league in goal scoring, and he only played 50 games. So he was a solid 20, 25 games behind everybody else. So, between him, TJ Tynan led the league in assists again for the fourth straight year. They know what they're doing. Kill Thomas has had a breakout season, a 20-goal a year for him. He's been up in the NHL as well, too. They got Alex Turcotte down. They have enough offensive firepower. Of the three teams we could have played, Ontario, Colorado, Tucson, Ontario's the one that has the most offensive weapons up front. But where they've killed us, and by kill, I just mean, the last two games, basically, in Ontario, where they've gotten the upper hand on us has been their depth, has been their third and fourth lines. Andre Lee, Sam Hellenius, Jacob Doty scored a couple of goals. That can't happen if you're going to win this series. Your best players have to be your best players, and they're on par with our best players, but the depth of them of Ontario took it to another level the last couple of games. That can't happen if we're winning the series.
Let's talk about the people protecting the net and goaltending on. Let's start the Backup Birds.
Yeah, this is a strength for both sides, but I think it's more of a strength for the Condors, right? The way the series lays out, and again, we're focused on tomorrow night, but the way the series lays out, if it goes 3, you're probably going to have to use 2 netminders. Probably, in my mind.
Right.
That's, a Saturday night in Bakersfield. If that goes to overtime, I mean, you're not getting to Ontario until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. You got to play at 5 o'clock that next day. So, Again, that's, way down the road here. But, I would anticipate, from a Condors perspective, I would anticipate both goaltenders. It's been both goaltenders all year long. I don't see why it would change. 2 top 10 netminders. Erik Portillo's been the horse for Ontario. He's 6th in save percentage in the league. He's been very good. Don't get me wrong. But I think there's holes to his game. I do. And I think that's an area the Condors can exploit. We've scored 28 goals in 8 games against them. So we've had their number offensively, being able to score goals. It's been staying out of the box and staying off that power play that's caused us problems.
And getting past that defense and getting to the net in the first place.
For sure. And, I think it's, listen, 2 elite defensive teams, 2 elite power plays. There's minimal separating this. And everything in the playoffs gets magnified. You remember every penalty. You remember every missed opportunity. It's going to be key to play with leads against Ontario because they're so good when they get a lead and they can lock things down. But we saw over the weekend, they fall behind Colorado. When they're chasing games, they give up a lot of goals. So if you can get in front of them and force them to come out of their shell, force them to come out of their trap, force them to, get a little over, extended, that's when you can exploit them. And we've been able to do that this season with some regularity. Now, playoffs a different beast. It's going to be physical. It's going to be tight. It's a great experience for not only the veterans, but, all the first-year guys that are going to go through it for the first time or the second time.
And let's talk about the people who don't wear skates but wear suits. What have we seen behind the bench on both teams?
That's a good question. Colin Chalk is our third-year head coach and, has led the team to, 3 straight postseasons, 38 wins or 39 wins this year, second most in team history. So feel very confident in him. And I think his approach really keeps the guys calm, I think. This is it's nerve-wracking, right? Like it's, you feel it up in the booth, you feel it everywhere. A goal can send you home.
Right.
And when you get to this time of the year, nobody wants to go home, right? Nobody wants to stop playing, right? The temperatures are nice. Like nobody wants to leave. So, and Marco Sturm, Ontario had a big turnaround, right? They were the last team in last year, lost as or they were the second to last team in last year. They lost to Colorado in 2 games. They limped home. They were not the same team come playoff time. So credit to them. They had the biggest boost going into, this postseason from last year. Same 7 teams, but, obviously in a different batting order here going into the postseason. So credit to them. They played the best down the stretch of anybody. They won 11 of their last 13. They're deserved for their positioning, and we'll see what happens going into tomorrow night.
Let's go talk about the run. So game 1 starts tomorrow in Ontario, where you're going to be on the bus in about an hour heading your way towards the Inland Empire. And then Saturday night, game number 2 is here in B-Town. And then you got to turn right around for the next day. Game number 3, if necessary, is going to be right there back in Ontario.
Yeah.
Like how how there's a there how can I phrase this? So there's a weird correlation to this. Like you have a couple days between game 1 and game 2, but then you have so little time between game 2 and game 3. How's the prep like for that?
Yeah. It comes down to building availability, right? So Ontario doesn't have the building Friday or Saturday. And we don't have the building on Friday. So would we have liked to play Friday at home? Probably, in a perfect world, but that's not a perfect world. And then play Sunday in Ontario, sure. But we didn't have the building Friday. We had the option. We could have played Thursday, but we wanted to avoid the back-to-back if possible. If it has to come to that, we'll deal with that as it may. But looking forward to winning one game and sitting on that win for 2 days and getting ready for a raucous place here Saturday night. I mean, the other opponents that we would have faced, Tucson, Colorado, we wouldn't have gotten a home game. So I think it's not lost on the guys, what this place means, and to be able to do it at home. It's going to be an elimination game either way. We have the elimination game on our home ice, and it's either for us or for them. Somebody's potentially going home, if they don't win. So we'll see what happens.
Let's go now also talk about something that broke down literally after we went off the air last time we did the webcast. Our captain, dear captain, I almost feel like I got to do a Robin Williams thing right now, but Brad Malone retiring this season.
Yeah, and it's something that is kind of been bantered about. I think all year long he's been dealing with a number of injuries just to be able to play the season. And Father Time is undefeated, right? And it comes for us all at some point. And for Brad, I don't think I think he wanted to go out on his own terms. I don't think he wanted to go out on somebody else's terms. Like he said, we're not, this is a end of the regular season, but certainly a long playoff run, and he wants to be in the back of a convertible coming down Truxton in June. So, I think that's the goal. And it was nice to be able to celebrate him and his family on Saturday. And they deserve that. I mean, he's been here 7 years, been our captain for 4. That's not lost on me, on this organization, on this town. He's the longest serving captain for a reason, and you don't get to be his age with, and I'll jab him a little bit with his skill set without being a great leader, great teammate, and a great person, because, it's not like he's leading the league in scoring every year. He's leading in leadership. He's leading in stuff you don't see. It was great for him to score a goal the other night. I mean, that was a terrific moment, one that, I'll certainly remember for a long time. But great to be able to celebrate him and his family on Saturday, and then turn the page. And, it looks like he's good to go for the postseason as well, too.
Thank you, Brad, for everything you've done. I love watching him. He's like one of those people. It makes it look so effortless on ice. Like, there are some people in which you like see them almost sweating when they got to do something, but Brad's like, no, I got this. So thank you.
Well, and with him too, like, I mean, every off season it gets tougher and tougher, right? Like, it doesn't get easier, right?
No.
Guys get, quicker, younger, more intelligent, and you're depreciating as you go along, and it's harder and harder to maintain that level. And I think one thing about Brad is when he first came, he was, the guy offensively, right? Like, I mean, he was looked upon as a top line center. Remember the playoff series is in 2019. He led the team in scoring in 2019. That wasn't that long ago. Like, it was 5 years ago. And was a big part of that. He scored the overtime game winner against San Diego to send us to Vegas in 2021. So he's every big moment in the Condors AHL history has Brad Malone kind of skating around, either scoring the goal or in the picture as well, too. So, he'll certainly be missed next season, but we got a long way to go here.
Well, I think Brad has lived pretty much what's on my cup, that I get eat, sleep, hockey, repeat. That's been pretty much Brad's thing. So, Brad, we really appreciate everything you've done for B-Town and the Baco Birds. That is just a heck of a career. And dude, enjoy retirement. Like some of our past members of the Condors organization through the ECHL days and even the AHL days, it's good to see them like finally getting a chance to, like, you know what, I can breathe and just enjoy life a little bit.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about so once again, Wednesday in Ontario, that is tomorrow. People want to check out the game, what do they need to do?
Yeah, AHL TV. There's playoff pricing and packaging. It's cheaper than anything. So I think you get the whole playoffs for $20. So dial it up and you have it on all your smart TVs and all your devices.
And of course, Saturday we want the house packed. So what do people need to do?
Yeah, tickets start at $15. Gonna be a lot of fun Saturday night. 7:00 puck drop. Doors open at 6. Rally towels for everybody in attendance. We get some other giveaways and stuff too to hand out. So
nice.
Should be a great crowd. Should be a great atmosphere, and hopefully a big win. Hopefully that ends Ontario's season.
And it'll be on our website shortly, energy953.com, in which we'll have a chance for you to win some tickets as well. So
absolutely, yeah. I gave you Holt seats.
You got Holt seats. They're going to hang out with you in the booth?
No, they get my seats downstairs. Yeah.
All right, so check that out, energy953.com, and of course, get your tickets at bakersfieldcondors.com. It's going to be a great time. We want that house full. It needs to be full, and if it's not full, something's wrong with B-Town. But we don't have something wrong in B-Town, so it's going to be full. So it's going to be a great time out there. Ryan, Holt, hopefully next week we'll be talking about round 2 of the Calder Cup playoffs and find out who our next opponent will be. Otherwise, we'll do a wrap-up, whatever we do. But otherwise, we'll be here next week once again with your Bakersfield Energy Condors connection. Dude, get on that bus. I think the bus is about to pull out without you, so let's get you out of here. Ryan Holt from the Bakersfield Condors. My name is Erik Fox from Energy 95.3. Every single week, we are your digital connection to find out what's going on with your Bako Birds, the Bakersfield Condors. And we'll catch you next time.